And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of New Earth Tarot Live. Good to see you all here once again. So we have another great episode that we're going to be doing. Got my magic glasses on just so I'm not doing this all the time. And I'm trying to read comments and questions on the chat. Glad to see you're all here. We're going to have some questions from the audience. Like I said, just making sure that they're semi-personal or general in nature. So please make sure that there is no personal questions with the chat today, because personal questions are for private sessions or when I do the bi-weekly ADRONIS or transmissions from ADRONIS webinars. So save your personal questions for those. Otherwise, we're just going to go ahead and get started firstly with some announcements.
The world's first spiritual rejuvenation technology in the form of modern everyday items has arrived through AetherX. Etherics offers transcendental healing products that work to detoxify, replenish, and restore you on a physical, emotional, and mental level. The Ether Bed Kit takes the form of a powerful rejuvenation technology that utilizes your own life force energy to restore organs, glands, bodily systems, the energy system, and replenish emotional and mental well-being. The Etherics card decks, the healing code cards, eliminate and detoxify physical, emotional, and mental conflicts within the body. 44 beautifully designed geometrical cards specifically designed to work on the major areas of the body, encouraging natural recovery and increased vitality. The healing code cards come in 3 different themes: the body, mind, and energy decks, each with their own specific design to renew and rejuvenate the body. Etherics apparel and accessories that offer comfortable attire and beautiful geometrical and image designs to detoxify, strengthen, and rejuvenate the body. Download our collection of free sample images and cards from our website so that you can witness the benefits of Etherics spiritual technology for yourself. Visit our website now at AetherX.co and begin your rejuvenation journey with us.
And of course, on Etherics.co, this is just a glimpse of some of the products that we have available. We have sneakers, we have slippers, we have flip-flops, we have Etherics for pets. So we have like hoodies for dogs, we have bandanas for dogs as well too. We have collars for cats and dogs. We also have a pet bed as well too. We also got mugs, we got thermoses as well too that are contained in the charger mode. I should probably go back and say what each one does. So with the sneakers, the shoes, sandals, the flip-flops, basically what that does is that's what's known as the earthing mode of Etherics. So basically you put them on and you're actually getting the earth energy. So you're getting your earth energy in the sneakers. That's a big problem for a lot of manufacturers today, is when they're manufacturing these nice looking shoes, they're actually pretty crappy because they block out the natural frequency of the earth. Well, not Etherics. With etheric shoes, you're actually getting the capturing of the earth energy in there. So we got sneakers, and they're actually being quite popular right now. Sneakers, sandals, flip-flops, slippers, all of that. Same with the dogs and cats. Again, that is the activator. So they will get the healing mode once you place the clothing item on them. With the Etherics thermoses and mugs as well too, it has the charger mode. So it's basically taking all of the essence of healing mode and putting that into your drink, while also purifying the liquid in the thermos or in the mug as well too. We also got, again, more clothing. We got some hoodies, we got some t-shirts, and of course we do have the ether mat, just as you see here in the bottom left-hand corner. So the ether mat is very similar to the ether bed because it has a healing mode, it has a sleep mode, and it also has a yoga mode. So yoga mode, again, for activity, for fitness. And of course, in the bottom right-hand corner here, we have the Etherics quilts. So we have the ether bed kits and we have the ether quilts as well too. So the ether quilts are just a perfect complement to the ether bed kit as well too, as it has the exact same functions when it comes to sleep mode, healing mode, and concentration mode. All right. So that is also a part of the quilts. Another announcement I'm going to be making is, I think it was about a week or two ago, I was kind of not too sure about doing custom-made Etherics products, but I've had a week to kind of meditate on that a little bit. And basically what I'm going to do is I am going to start offering some Etherics custom services for people, for individuals. Okay, so I'm going to start producing medallions. I'm going to start producing pendants, rings, anklets, bracelets. Okay, that will be completely configured with Etherics coding. So they're basically going to be imbued, and basically they're going to be of the quality of the torus bed. Okay, this is the exciting news. Okay, it's going to be a couple weeks before I get them going. I'll help you see if I can get them going by hopefully before May 1st. But basically, I'm going to have custom services for Etherics, right? So basically, what you would do is you would go onto Etherics. I will have a brand new custom-made section where you would see medallions, pendants, rings, anklets, bracelets, etc. Anything that represents wearables. And I would basically give you a form that you would custom create. I would say, okay, here's 5 to 10 things that you could select of what you want the medallion or the pendant or the custom-made device that you will have, what you want it to do for you. I would also throw some extra goodies in as well too, taking care of your organs, taking care of your chakras, taking care of your nadi channels, taking care of your entire bodily and energetic system, balancing your kundalini, right? You could also throw in some extra features in regards to improving memory, increasing your psychic ability, increasing focus, right? So we will have those capabilities coming together. So there will be Etherics custom services coming, and I think I'll probably roll that out on May 1st, okay? When we get the brand new website going and offering these custom services. So basically you would fill out this form, I would receive it, and I would create a custom array for you. So if this was like the medallion right here, there would be an array, basically one of these, okay? That would be engraved onto the array, whether it's a medallion or a pendant or what have you. And basically that array would contain all of the information. And it would be of the strength quality of the torus bed. Okay, so the brand new bed that's coming, that's super powerful, that would be the equivalent of what would be around your neck with a medallion. Okay, it would have the torus bed style coating, which is super powerful, right? So that would be the new offer that I'm going to be giving. Again, I'm thinking probably May 1st. I'm starting to look at some suppliers right now that have like good medallions and pendants, necklaces, rings, all of that, right? Just something that's a wearable that you're keeping on you as often as possible, and that is really going to completely transform your body. It will also have environmental influence as well too. So the medallion that you wear, or the pendant, or the necklace, so forth, what you wear is actually going to influence your environment. Now, this is the reason why some people struggle at times, because they're working on their body. They're getting good improvement with their physical body, but they still have some ups and downs. And the reason why we have ups and downs is because of our environment, right? So what the medallion would do is it would also be an environmental buffer. It would also help you with buffering. Petra's like, silver? Yes, guys. I would give you guys things like silver, gold, brass, copper. So there'll be options for you, whatever you feel you like, right? And make sure you guys have a good variety of things you could select. Just something that you can choose that you would like. So, oh, Brad, I'll get a brass one. Okay, cool. Brad, I'd like to get a gold one. Cool. We'll do that too, okay? So there'll be options there. So if a person wants to get some really good quality stuff, they'll be able to get some good quality stuff on the custom service. If they want to get something that's kind of, decent, maybe copper or brass or something like that, then that's something will be available as well too. So yes, I'll have options for you guys. You guys will be able to choose whatever kind of medallion or necklace or ring or anklet or bracelet or anything of that nature that you want, because it will all be imbued with Etherics technology. Okay, so it's going to be very, very exciting. I'm going to roll this out on May 1st. I'm only going to be able to do so many services per month, so there'll probably be only like a 15 quantity quota. Okay, so basically I could serve 15 people per month. Okay, because otherwise it would just get too overwhelming, too crazy. So I'll keep you guys in the know as that gets developed. Okay, as we get closer to the time of May, I'll have more information on the custom service. Again, the Taurus bed is coming out here very soon as well too, on the 1st of May. I think it probably will be May 1st. I would like to get it April 15th, but I just don't think that's likely because I'm still working on the code. I'm still perfecting the code quite a bit. I still have to run some trials for it as well too, so it feels more like May 1st for the new Taurus bed. Okay, but it's going to be amazing when it's developed. It's going to be absolutely outstanding, and it works completely in harmony with the prana bed, or the Ether bed kit. Right? But again, Ether bed kit is going to be called the Prana bed. New bed that's coming is called the Taurus bed. Okay, and they're meant to work together hand in hand. Anyways, guys, let me just continue on with some of the announcement here. This is with private sessions. Distance healing by donation is now available. Of course, it has been available for a while. I need to update this image. Private sessions, ADRONIS can be brought forward through private sessions, or again with tarot readings or higher self-communication, that is also available. Also, tarot readings and higher self-communication with 3-question sessions by email. So if you do want to talk to ADRONIS, you would need to book a 1-to-1 private session with me, okay? And he would come through and he could share some insight with you. I've had a few people who have already come on who have had wonderful conversations with ADRONIS, and his conversations are always wonderful. So again, you can check that out at newearthteachings.com. Everything on this New Earth Teachings YouTube channel is backed up onto Odyssey, so you can get the video, description in the get the link in the video description. It's odyssey.com/@newearthteachings. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with today's broadcast. Let me take a sip of vitamin water first, or electrolyte water, I should say. All right, let's go into the live chat. So hello everybody, welcome. Good to see you all here. Again, if you guys want to have a question that would be first in line, you can feel free to leave a donation in the super chat. Just make sure to type in your question with your donation, just so I can see it. Okay, and that will put you first in line. And if by chance, out of some rare occasion, if I'm not able to see your question today and I'm not able to get around it, and if it is a super chat question, then just email it to me afterwards in case I miss it today. And then I'll email you back afterwards and answer your question. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with the top of the chat. So this one here is from NP. NP says, let me grab this tarot here today. Hi Brad, can the cards show what we can expect for Portugal in the next 3 months? All right, let's take a look at Portugal. What may be taking place, what may be transpiring with that lovely country between now and the next 3 months. So what can we expect from Portugal? So I'm just trying to find out how we can phrase that really good for a tarot question. Okay, so basically we could say regarding Portugal, how will its change progress within the next 3 months? I think that's a good way of putting it. So we want to make sure that we're addressing the current. We want to make sure that we're addressing the situation. Okay, so regarding Portugal, how will it progress within the next 3 months through the country itself? Okay. Let's take a look. Okay, well, it's no surprise that Portugal has been going through a lot of shaking up. Okay, they've been going through a lot of shifts here altogether. It's like I said, guys, right now it's really just a transitional period. It's the idea that people really need to get fed up. They need to get fed up, they need to get outraged about everything that's happening, and they need to stand up and basically completely stand together and work with changing everything pertaining to the government, right? So right now, the energy of Portugal is actually quite benefic, right? There's some benefits coming together with Portugal. How will the situations go over the next 3 months? You're moving away from the bad stuff. You're moving away from the troubling, right? You're moving away from the troublemakers, okay? Unfortunately, guys, like I said, things need to heat up. Things need to heat up, and it needs to get to a boiling point where you guys need to say enough is enough, and we're going to take matters into our own hands. We're going to take to the streets. And that's basically what's happening to a lot of places around the world right now. There's getting gigantic protests in the thousands and hundreds of thousands, perhaps even in the millions as well, too. We're starting to see that. But of course, the MSM will not show those particular types of things because they want to try and keep a lid on everything. They want to make it feel like everything's peachy cream okay, right? But basically in the past, this is really what has happened. Now, this also has different meanings to it. It's not just representing the idea of the people. It's representing that the idea of the way of the old is on the way out. This is the past, so this is representing the old. And I could say that this also represents the idea of the dawn coming, okay? We have had a certain blackness. We've had a lot of, like a big heavy storm over Portugal from the past, especially over these past few months. But we can see the crack of dawn happening in the background, okay? So even though things have been agonizing, it looks like things are going to be put together in a much more productive way. Okay, so we're going to see the idea of balancing happening. We're seeing a rebalancing. We're seeing transition taking place politically through the government, right? This may also represent the idea of financial institutions starting to shift around. This can represent the idea of overhauls that are taking place right now with Portugal. Okay, so we're pertaining to their financial system, pertaining to their government. The near future, right? It feels like, again, with the near future, there's still a lot of weight that needs to be carried. There's still a lot of things that need to be dropped out of the way. But the good news is that it is progressing, right? So we're seeing the idea, not always representing this as a dark cult card, but representing that as people start to grow, this actually shows more of a growth card to me. As people start to grow and progress, and they start coming together, and they realize that the only way that this is going to get better is that when we stand together. And maybe that's involving a large protest. Maybe that's involving, again, thousands of people taking to the streets once again. That's going to bring about an initial success for Portugal. So it feels like there's going to be some ups, and there's going to be some downs, and there's going to be some ups, and there's going to be some downs relating to Portugal. Because they're trying to get this criminal cartel out of the country altogether. And that is certainly a work in progress, right? That certainly is happening right now. Is you guys are getting a lot of that, the kind of the filthy criminal cartel out of the country. But they're still holding on. There's still some grasp there. There's still very much an underground that's been happening with criminal activity. This is like parasites, guys. It's like trying to get parasites out of your body. And the good news is we have a good antidote for that. But it's still going to take some time to get a lot of that parasitical energy out of Portugal altogether. When the people actually start standing up, and you have protests, you have people who are occupying, right, the city, the entire country itself. That's what's going to make a difference. Like I said, we take the example of the Freedom Convoy in Canada. That really made a difference. That was a game changer, okay? In Denmark, when they would go outside with pots and pans and start banging them around, okay? Those are game changer moments. And that's basically what Portugal needs right now. They need some game changer moments. So it's going to be going up and down, okay? There's going to be some highs. There's going to be some lows. And like I said, the most important thing, guys, is we have to let these things play out as they need to. If you are feeling compelled to join people in the thousands to the streets, and that's what your heart is telling you to do, right? Follow your heart to decide what you feel is best. Portugal is going to be going through some ups and downs, but really overall, as I've said, a lot of what the whole entire old regime is basically being cleaned out right now. But there still is some riffraff that are in the corners that still need to be taken care of, okay? So Portugal is still going to be going through some shifts between now and the next 3 months. But like I said, 2023 really represents a grace time. There's a lot more advantage with the idea of counterforces right now than there ever has been. So again, that's what I can share regarding Portugal. All right? Thank you, NP. Okay, this one here is from Samar. Excuse me. From Samar. And is a question for ADRONIS. So Samar says, hey ADRONIS, what is the possible cause for joint pains, specifically knee issues, in young adults nowadays? Okay, so let me go ahead and bring ADRONIS in, and we can ask that question about knee pains or joint issues in young adults nowadays. Okay, let's take a look at that. Terra Soul Star Sirius ADRONIS. We are here. At this time, we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am ADRONIS of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. We want to thank you very much, Samar, for your question pertaining to your youth, to the young adults, as it were, who are experiencing joint pain. Well, this often has to do with intruders within the body. The idea where there is inflammation within the joints, this can happen to young people as well. This is not the idea of just happening to middle-aged people or seniors or anything of that way. This has to do with toxicity. This has to do with poisons. This has to do with intruders. This has to do with troublemakers that can come together in the body. Quite commonly, it can be parasites. Quite commonly, it can be the condition to which we would term as Lyme disease. Or again, the intrusion of certain ticks, the intrusion of certain parasites that are coming into the body. And you may feel that there are certain inflammation taking place within the joints. Now, inflammation is not the cause itself. Inflammation is the defense mechanism. So when you are noticing that there may be certain forms of parasitical intake within your body, you want to ensure that you are working quite commonly with a substance that we would term as ozone, and that you're actually working with ozone treatment. Now, you can create your own if you wish, or you can go to certain clinics, as they do have ozone technology to assisting you in helping to clear out much of these troublemakers. Of course, there is also what Brad creates through the nature of Etherics. There is also, again, spiritual technology that can assist you. However, if you are looking for something that represents a clinical assistance, then that is what we would certainly recommend, is working with ozone technology, working with the power of ozone itself to assist in the clearing of any particular types of troublemakers, parasites, or any other forms of intrusions that are taking place upon your body. Now, of course, there are physical injuries that take place, but we know that that's not really what you're meaning. You're referring to something much more internal that is happening, representing irritability, representing discomfort, representing illness. And this is something that is quite common, is quite commonly the nature of parasitic intrusion. So look into ozone technology, as this can also assist in helping to release and clear away anything pertaining to those situations. We thank you. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Samir, for your question. I will go ahead and move on to the next question. Okay, this one here is from Rita. Rita says, "Hi Brad, please explain what is going on in Israel. There are missiles in the north. Is it white hats?" Okay, I'm not too familiar with the story, but let me just take a look here at Israel. Missiles. Okay, massive missile strikes delivered from Lebanon. Let's see. Gaza terrorists. Okay, yeah, well, this is definitely a false flag. There's no doubt about that. Okay. So I'm just kind of looking at this very, very quickly because I don't really check the newspaper every day, guys. So when you guys tell me these things, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not really too aware of it. So I'm just kind of taking a quick glance at it. So they basically call it terrorists in the Gaza Strip fired a number of rockets early Thursday morning, setting off rocket warning sirens in Israel. Okay, this is nothing but a false flag, guys. These are dark hats. Okay, so we'll certainly look at it through the tarot. Okay, pertaining to the idea of missile launches in Israel, right? As Rita is saying about what is going on in Israel in that sense. Well, it's the complete and total falling away of the cabal, because Israel has been a very heavily concentrated stronghold for the cabal for quite some time, okay? So my feeling is it's some type of retaliation. It's like a scare tactic of what they're trying to do. Okay, it's not the first time we've seen missiles launched, guys, right? Look at this situation pertaining to North Korea in the past, right, where there were missiles happening there as well, okay? So this is not something that is out of the ordinary. This is basically scare tactics, okay? So let's take a look and see what is transpiring with Israel regarding these missile launches and what's taking place there, okay? Okay, so the feeling I'm getting is that there has been a takeover, okay? A positive takeover, okay? So basically we're seeing Israel pertaining to the old cabal fall away, right? And I feel like there are some scare tactics, because basically that's what this card is representing, right? Trying to fire missiles and all that stuff like that, but it's not really going to lead to anything representing retaking of Israel through the Dark Cabal. So my feeling is that this is something pertaining to a scare tactic, exactly what I was saying. Okay, but basically in that sense, we're seeing a lot of the old Cabal starting to get flushed out of Israel, right? So they're exiling them in that way, basically taking them out, leaving them, or basically I'd say an exodus would probably be the best way to put it. So this looks like this has been a counterforce takeover. Yes, it feels like there's something going on in Israel relating to a counterforce takeover. But again, it feels to me like these missile launches in that sense are scare tactics. It's saying, oh, if you do this, we're gonna do this as a result, right? I'm not too sure if those missiles got shot down or what have you in that sense. I only took a quick glance at the story. But it looks like there's been some protection and some, I guess you could say, some shackles taking place with the people of Israel, the government of Israel, been going through some very, very intense situations here. So we're seeing here the Nine of Wands. This is representing severe endings to something that represented severe takeover with the Cabal. The Cabal is losing its grip with Israel, okay? And so basically, I feel like they've held Israel hostage for a very, very long time. So the feeling I'm getting here, just overall, is that it's not about not trying to start a war or anything of that nature. It's more so just trying to start a scare tactic, to say that if you try to take us over, we're going to launch these missiles. It's kind of like what they were doing with the Turkey earthquake as well too, right? Basically trying to rattle some cages in that way. They're losing their territories. They're losing their resources. They're losing their authoritative power. And this is their response in states of retaliation, trying to launch these missiles. But my feeling would be that these missiles would probably have gotten taken out, or they may have been destroyed mid-flight or something of that nature, okay? So that's basically the elevator version in regards to what I'm getting here pertaining to Israel. So again, we have the Eight of Cups here representing the situation with Israel, so it feels like there's a withdrawal. Feels like there's an exodus. There's a removal of somebody here. And it feels like there's a taking over on a positive level with the counterforces, okay? So that's kind of the basic knowledge I'm getting here regarding that. And like I said, it feels like the good guys are moving in, the counter forces are moving in. Feels like there's going to be some new takeovers coming together. Looks like there's going to be some established order. There's going to be some new innovations coming in, new transitional government taking in from Israel as well too. It's kind of just a feeling I'm getting. But that's really what I'm getting altogether. It's not the feeling of war. It's not the idea of breaking out or trying to go to war. I'm sure that's what they are attempting to do, but it's not going to fly. It's not going to work. Because they've tried many of those particular types of tactics before with launching missiles in that sense. A lot of those missiles are really just duds anyways. They're not actual missiles that are going to cause destruction. They're more like dud missiles. These can also be signals of something, that when these missiles actually start to fire off, that it's also a sign of something else, right? It's representing the idea that there's a new taking over, there's a new taking off taking place. So again, I really just don't trust in regards to anything that the mainstream media is saying relating to launching missiles or trying to start a war or anything of that nature, right? You got to really take it with a grain of salt. A lot of it is more symbolic than anything else. And it feels like this is something representing the dismantling of the old cabal, specifically around Israel, because they've been holding Israel by the throat for a very, very long time. And I think they're starting to get the old criminal cartel out of there now with something new to take its place. Okay? That's basically what I'm getting in a nutshell. Okay, let's go further down the list here. I'm just seeing a lot of these questions about these different countries, like Israel's getting desperate, Cuba's getting desperate, Portugal's getting desperate, this country's getting desperate, this country's desperate. Guys, of course they are, right? These are the transformative times. These are the transformative times where you're going to start seeing everything fall apart. It has to. It has to fall apart, guys. I'm sorry. As much as we would love to just do some dancing in circles and just everything just magically glow gold and everything turn okay, it's not going to work like that. You have to see these countries get destroyed, okay? Get destroyed from the inside. Their infrastructure needs to be destroyed. The way they have presented themselves, the way that they are running everything into the ground, all of that needs to get destroyed. The old decay of everything that represents these countries from country to country needs to be destroyed. And it's not going to be pretty. Okay? We'll look into Cuba here in just a minute. But like I said, guys, this is exactly what's happening, right? And I've been looking at these countries for the last couple of years, week to week, month to month. That's exactly what's happening. You're seeing the complete, so it's like looking at all this rotting wood structure, just ready to buckle and just watch everything fall apart. And it needs to, okay? Everything needs to fall apart relating to the old ways of things, the old decay. You are going to see desperation. You are going to see frantic behavior. You are going to see fear. You are going to see anxiety. You are going to see horror, okay? Because so many people cling to these systems and they're dying now. So many people have clung into these ways of authority and government and they're dying away now, right? We're just watching all of it die around us. It's like a demolition derby. It's exactly what's happening. Seeing these crashes. You're seeing these implosions. You're seeing all of this destruction. And in a way, it's a good thing because that's us tearing down the old. It's us getting the wrecking ball and we're knocking down everything. Everything needs to be knocked down. Not a single stone is left unturned. Okay? It's what I've been saying for years now, guys, and you're seeing it. You're seeing it right in front of your eyes right now with what's happening with Israel, with missiles, what's happening with Cuba, what's happening with Portugal, what's happening with Australia, what's happening with Sweden, what's happening with Switzerland, what's happening with the United States. Okay? It's all part of demolition. It's a decade-long demolition event that's taking place. Everything pertaining to the old, to the corrupt, to the filthy, to the nasty, right? To where everything is completely in disharmony is going to get bulldozed to the ground. And that's what you're seeing. And I can guarantee you that's what's happening. I can guarantee you that's what's going to continue to happen until all this old stuff is completely annihilated. And that's basically what's happening. It's a time of destruction, guys. Now, I know that's scary, but it needs to happen. In order for these new things to come together, the old must implode. It needs to fall apart. It needs to die. And that's what we're seeing. Okay? So let's take a look at Cuba. Situation in Cuba for the next month. They're desperate there, not sign of improvement. Is there some positive development news? Okay. Once things start to implode and new seeds start being planted, that's when the positive comes. But Cuba needs to implode as well too. But let's take a look and see what they're going through. I know we don't like to hear these things, guys, but I'm sorry, guys. Our entire world has been built on corrupt means, corrupt pillars, bad wood that's just falling apart. Right? These things need to take place, and that's exactly what's happening with Cuba. It's going to lead into something very positive, yes. But we have to see the takedowns first. Do not cover your eyes. You have to see what's happening here. You have to see what's taking place. Okay. So this is the idea of Cuba, right? They are going through shifts. This is all part of yin and yang. This is balancing everything. Okay. The old needs to be destroyed so the new that can come together. Okay. And the new is going to come together because what's actually happening? You're looking at a new world being constructed, but you have to let the old world die. You have to let the old systems die. You have to let the old authority die away. You need to let all of the old foundations crumble away. And Cuba has been under dictatorship for a very, very long time. Okay? So the past is that we're seeing things change. We're seeing a duality taking place here with Cuba. Okay, they've been on the brink of this, brink of critical mass, where we're going to see new authoritarian leadership coming together, right? There's going to be the whole day, again, counter forces coming in. It's the same thing, guys. Every single country has these kind of cards, where there's new leadership coming together, new transitional government coming together. They're keeping it all secret. They're all keeping it hush, 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 right? What's the big deal? What's going on here? Why are so many different countries being kept so quiet? Because if they started to voice exactly what they're doing, they would lose their edge. They would lose the opportunity of getting all of these operations that are necessary to take out these psychopaths, to basically take out the psychopath, sociopathic, crazy, unbelievably demonic worshipping weirdos out of power. If they start announcing that to the world, then they can't do it. They have to keep it very, very quiet. It needs to be clandestine here. Okay, this is going to lead to a new Cuba. Okay, there's going to be shifts. There's going to be changes. There's going to be takeovers. There's going to be the idea in that sense of unity, things coming together. Maybe this is leading into the idea of Cuba being independent. It could. It certainly could. Okay, but the old has to die away, right? The old has to die away, and we need to start shifting. We need to start shifting the pillars. We need to start shifting the gates. We need to start moving things around. We need to start exposing the corrupt about what they're exactly doing. This is going to lead to further exposure. This is going to lead to further dismantling. Okay, there's a lot of people that are trying to get their voices heard about being whistleblowers and trying to expose a lot of what's happening country to country. Whether those people get airtime or not is anyone's guess. But that's exactly what the MSM is trying to prevent. There's a lot of people that have the information that are saying, well, this is exactly why Cuba's in a rut. This is exactly why Portugal's in a rut. This is exactly why Israel's going through what they're going through right now. But they don't get airtime. Okay? You're not going to find them on an MSM. And they can tell you a lot of these things. They can tell you, again, a lot of these scandals and exposures coming together. I mean, we basically just had a full moon here. And that is also representing the idea of a lot of shifts happening, right? A lot of, it's almost like scattering to the winds that are taking place right now. Okay? We're seeing problems with travel. We may see things a lot doing with air, right? So we're seeing missiles. So that basically comes to the idea of what's happening right now with the full moon of April, right? Something involving air, something involving flight, right? And we're seeing the flight of missiles. So to me, this is telling that there's a critical situation happening in Israel that is leading to, again, a downfall of the old regime. There's critical situations happening in Cuba right now that is leading to the signs of the downfall of the old regime. Okay, they're just crumbling away, guys. I'm no politician. I'm not going to give you guys a bunch of political news. But again, I would say don't be so shocked by what you see happening in the world. Okay? Try not to be shocked by it. Okay? And I know a lot of people say, oh, but bro, this is falling apart. It's like, guys, this has been falling apart for years. It's just reaching a culmination point where the old stuff needs to fall away. You're looking at decaying, rotting wood, and it's just going to buckle, and it's going to fall apart, and you're going to watch everything implode. So it's just, I basically knew that this was going to happen. These systems that we have lived off for thousands of years have never been sustainable. They've involved corruption to maintain themselves. They've involved somebody dying. They've involved suppression. They've involved keeping secrets. They've involved keeping things in vaults. They've involved getting people to feed off the scraps of life. Okay? This has never led to completely and totally sustainable systems. None of the systems we have on this planet are sustainable at all. They're all on borrowed time. They have a time clock here. And they're all about to hit midnight. Okay? And we're seeing that right now. And this is, again, 2023. Okay? 2023 is all about introspection. 2023 is all about looking within, about looking at all these things, about looking at accountability. It also represents a gray shear. Okay? But there's a lot of things that need to fall apart here so that new things can rise. All right? Thank you very much for your question. All right, let's go down here a bit more. Okay, this is a question from Karina. Karina says, question, what do you say about ascension symptoms like pain in the body, etc.? Well, guys, those aren't ascension symptoms. Okay, there's really no such thing as ascension symptoms. Okay, there's just symptoms. Okay, again, we get this impression of thinking that ascension is outside of us, that it's in the externals, and that the energy is coming across the planet and things are so intense. Well, of course it is. But you're the one making everything intense. You're only just starting to realize through everything that you're going through, representing the shakeup, that certain things that you're now noticing within your body are transpiring. Right? That you're getting headaches, that you're getting heart palpitations, that you're getting nausea and all that sense. It has nothing to do with the idea of what's happening outside, right? It's important to take care of your environment as well, too. But what's happening is it's your influence. Everything about how you are influencing yourself, about how you are working. It's like looking at the totality of everything and making yourself sick. Okay? So we are making ourselves sick. We are making ourselves ill because we're just stressing about everything. We feel like everything's being a lot more harder nowadays. It's harder to make ends meet. It's harder to get a job, it's harder to work for the family and all that stuff, and you're noticing these tolls being taken on you. And yes, it's true that we are opening ourselves up spiritually, but when you're opening yourself up, if we're still contaminated within, then a lot of that contamination is going to start coming to the surface. Now, that's not an ascension symptom. That's just the idea of your own natural progression of yourself. You're looking within yourself and you're just realizing, right? These are more so, I guess you could say, effects of realization. You are realizing what you are capable of. You're realizing that you're learning to love more, that you're learning to be more compassionate, but you're also now starting to realize a lot of these things that have been buried within you. You see, you've put a lot of these things in you and you never really noticed it. So now that you're realizing that a lot of this old filth has been placed inside you through what you eat, through how you exercise, through the people that you talk to, through the environment that you live in, it's all coming from within, right? So as we start to open up our vault, we start to expand our light a little bit more day by day, we are noticing that these poisons, these toxins within ourselves are becoming more apparent, right? If we want to really have a clean bill of health, we have to see all the toxicity that's inside ourselves that we now have to clean out. So again, that's why I offer these free techniques for you guys, so that you're working to clean yourself out. So some people will say, I have ascension symptoms, okay? And I really have never really bought into the idea of ascension symptoms. I know a lot of people talk about that, but I've never bought into it, right? This is toxins that you've always had. These are problems that you've always had. You've just been ignorant to them. So what you're doing is you're illuminating your ignorance. And now you're becoming much more aware of what you're holding on to yourself. That has always been there. And now you're realizing, oh my goodness, I have these symptoms. I have a stomach ache, I have a headache, I got a migraine, right? My back's sore, right? I'm having indigestion issues, etc. Oh, it must be ascension symptoms. It must be ascension. No. You're just starting to notice these things that you've always carried, right? So you're illuminating yourself. It's those realization effects. It's the effects of you realizing how toxic you've been when you did not know it before, right? It's these aha moments. Aha moments would be a lot better than ascension symptoms, okay? So I've never subscribed to the idea of an ascension symptom, right? A lot of people I know all across the internet keep saying, oh, Rod, I have ascension symptoms, I have ascension. No, you don't have ascension symptoms. You're realizing that you've been sick. You're realizing that you've been carrying this illness around you for a very, very long time. You didn't know it before. But now as you're expanding, now as you're working with yourself, now that you're doing your inner work, now that you're shining your light, you're now realizing what's kept in the shadows here with yourself that represents problems, troublemakers, intruders, viruses, illnesses, bacteria, harshnesses, all of that. And now you can start working on yourself a lot more. So it's much more about the nature of realization than anything else. Okay? So that's what I can say about that. So again, pain in the body, like I said, that all just comes from your own toxicities. That all comes from your own worry. That all comes from the idea, like you guys are using the Etherics products. And many of you are coming to me and saying, Brad, I've been able to heal my arthritis. I've been able to heal my back pain and my neck pain. I've been able to heal all of these things. What has been happening? Well, basically, it's your own life force energy that's coming in and healing you, right? It's the natural signatures of your own energy that are coming in and helping to dissolve these things because you're ready to let a lot of these things go. But in regards to the deeper core identity of yourself, as long as you keep holding on to that, then that's where there's going to be continuous pain in your body. The reason why you're hurting is because of your own identity crisis with yourself and with the world, right? When you start to loosen those identity crises, then you're going to notice that this pain will start to subside. 90 to 95% of the pain that we carry within ourselves are psychological identification programs. Okay? They're not just the idea that, oh, I tripped and I hurt my knee. Okay, well, let's nurse it back to health. We'll get it better. Okay? But a lot of these chronic conditions about why are people getting like this nerve pain, this intense nerve pain. They're getting gurgling in their stomach and it hurts so much. Well, look at how you're living. Look at how you treat your environment every single day. Look how you're influenced by your environment every single day that you're bringing back into yourself. It's stress. It's pain. It's harshness. It's all of this wreaking of havoc that's happening within yourself. Well, what happens when you surrender? What happens when you let it go? Oh my God, the pain is gone so quickly. That's it. It's you causing your own pain, guys. And I'd love to say it's something else, but it's not. It's the truth of the matter. I'm only here to tell you guys the truth, because I've worked with thousands and thousands of people. And when they have these pains, it's all psychological, 90 to 95%. Okay? And as you start to surrender, as you start to work with yourself, as you start to balance yourself out, you start to relax, you start to get calm, you start doing some heart rate variability breathing, you start doing some pranayama, okay? You start getting yourself settled and you start surrendering and releasing these things. Your whole body starts feeling better. Now you're going to feel compelled to eat well. Now you're going to feel compelled to exercise. Now you're going to feel compelled to clean up your space, to make a better environment unfold for you, because that's the 3 phases. Phase number 1, you need to master your body. By mastering your body, you are aware of where there is hurt, and you now have the knowledge to take care of the body and heal it and bring it back into good health. Phase number 2 is the mind. You need to stop sabotaging yourself with heavy beliefs and heavy thoughts that are telling you, I'm no good, and this person's no good, and I blame this person, it's this person's fault, I'm the victim here, etc., etc. We are not sabotaging ourselves with the mind anymore. So once you master the body, once you master the mind, the third is mastering your environment, mastering the world, okay? How is my environment? Okay, so I'm moving into a very deep spiritual journey right now. How's my environment? Do I have people that are constantly coming in here and sabotaging me? That I have people that are constantly belittling me? That I have people who say that I'm never going to amount to anything? And I'm just seeing constant sabotage through my outer space, okay? When there's sabotage through your environmental space, this again is part of a sick body. Your environmental body is ill. So we have the physical body that's ill. We nurse it back to health. We have the mind body, the mental body, that is ill. We nurse it back to health. We have the environmental body that is ill. We need to nurse it back to health. What do I do, Brad? What's one way of helping me with that? Well, we want to bless our space. You want to bless your space, and you want to turn your space into a sanctuary, regardless if you live by yourself or if you live with others, right? When you're looking at other people that are living in your space, you are blessing them for who they are. You see their soul. You see their love. You see them who they really are. Otherwise, why are they living with you? Okay? You're blessing your neighbor, right? Even goes back to what the Bible says, love thy neighbor. Okay? The people that live with you are your neighbors. People that live with you are your family. So you are, again, just bringing love into a sanctuary that represents your environment. Your environment is now being nursed back to health, which means you're not here to start fights. You're not here to trigger fights. Oh, but Brad, there's people who are unbearable. There's people that are just so mean to me all the time. And I say, well, how are you reacting to that? Oh, I feel it's horrible, but that's the problem, right? As long as I'm reacting to feeling like I'm being mistreated, then the mistreatment is going to continue. I need to go within and find out what these reactions are doing to me. And I need to soften them. I need to lighten them up. I need to surrender to them, and I can release them. Therefore, I'm non-reacting to the people in my space. I'm blessing the entire sanctuary. As I live that way, my environment completely changes. The people in my life completely change. That's how it works. As I change, my environment changes with me. As I change, my body changes. As I change, my mind changes. Okay? Everything starts going changed because you are shifting the Rubik's Cube. And that is what's going to sanctify all 3 phases of your life. Your physical body, master it. Your mind, master it. Your environment, master it. When you master all 3 of those things, the idea of dread, of terror, of filth, of sabotage is all going to end. The conflicts will go. This is what I'm attempting to teach you guys. So I'm going to be making a video about the 3 phases. Mastering the body, mastering the mind, mastering the environment. Okay? These are the 3 phases of mastery. Every human being should know this. So this is where I'm going to make this video here this week. That'll be coming. All right? Okay. So here's one from Rebecca. Rebecca says, can we look at the United States for the next few weeks? EBS. You guys are asking for EBSs again. Oh, okay. We'll look into it. Not going to complain. We'll do it. But I'm just letting you guys know. Every time I've looked into an EBS, it's always been... Okay. So we'll keep looking. I know you guys want to use that for a bailout, but that's not what's going to happen. Okay. EBSs are something, if it was really, really horrifying, where the counterforces aren't making any progress whatsoever, then you would have something like an EBS. But I sincerely doubt that that is going to take place. All right. But let's take a look at the cards with the idea, the United States, is there going to be an EBS in the next few weeks? Okay, emergency broadcast system for the United States within the next several weeks. Is this going to take place? All right, let's take a look. No. Nope. Nothing in regards to an EBS. Everything is exactly what needs to happen right now. Everything is all parts, exactly as I've said before. Okay. So the whole idea of the EBS is very much on the shelf. There's endings taking place. The whole idea is that there's a clean sweeping taking place, especially around the United States right now. Okay. The past, like I said, there's a lot of distractions about Trump and relating to him. Was he going to get arrested? Or this is where we're going to try and arrest him, and blah, blah, blah. It's nothing but a clown's show. It's nothing but a circus that's going on, with the idea where people are just constantly focusing on Trump and should he be arrested? We got warrants for him. Blah, blah, blah. Then why aren't they doing it? Why aren't they doing it? Because they can't. Do you think they'd spend all this time drowning people in a bunch of garbage news about, oh yeah, how he's going to get arrested and he's going to get this and that? Why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you guys doing it? Because you can't. These are nothing but empty threats, and you're wasting people's time, just as the MSM always does, right? So again, this is all part of counterforce transformation taking place. There's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, but what does a lot of the Dark Cabal do is they fill your head with a bunch of stupidness, with a bunch of what ifs and hypotheses, and yeah, Trump's going to get arrested, and he's going to have this, he's going to have to answer for this, and he's going to have to do this, he's going to do this, and blah, 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 blah. And nothing gets done. And he's still wandering around. He's fine. He has there's no possibility of him getting arrested. He has immunity. Okay? When those people have immunity, they basically can't be touched. They can't be touched by the other side. If the other side tries to touch them, it's game over for the other side. There will be a gigantic exposure exposing every single one of them to the point where an EBS would come into play. Okay? An EBS is a fail switch that if any side deviates from it, an EBS would be a full gigantic exposure that would take place, that would trigger and end the entire game altogether. That's the last thing they want. That's why they can't touch Trump. Okay? So I'm not getting anything in regards to an EBS right now. Like I said, they have access to it. It's certainly within their capability to do it. But again, this is just part of their smear campaign. It's nothing but a chess game, guys. None of it's real. Like, I have to say this to you guys every week. None of it's real. Okay? None of what you see on MSM is the truth. None of what you see is real. It's nothing but a gong show. Okay? It's bong, 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 bong. We're banging the gong. Because none of it's real. It's a clown show. It's a three-ring circus. It's nothing but a big waste of people's time. Right? There's a lot more better things that you can be doing with your life than worrying about what the stupid MSM has to say about stuff. Right? Yeah, oh yeah, we're gonna get him, we're gonna get these warrants, and we're gonna arrest him, and blah blah blah. Then why haven't you done it? Why haven't you done it? Oh, shut up. Shut up, that's why. That's our excuse. Just shut up. We're just gonna bitch about it. We're just gonna complain about it, because that's all they can do. They can't touch him. Right? And if they touch him, game's over for them. If they so much as harm a hair on his head, they're finished. Okay? So that's why they can't touch him. This is why all they can do is bash him. All they can do is bash him. All they can do is slanderize him. All they can do is try to throw fear on top of him. Right? Fear propaganda and just a bunch of garbage slander and nothing else. He has immunity. You can't touch him. Okay? So that's the whole idea behind it. That's why he's still wandering free. That's still why he's out and about as he is. Okay? It's like how they were trying to impeach him. He had multiple impeachments. Did that ever stop his presidency? Not at all. Right? That's all they can do, is they can bitch and whine and moan and complain about him and slander him and give him threats and all that stuff. They can't do anything else to him. Right? If they do, game over for them. Simple as that. Like I said, guys, this is nothing but a play. This is nothing but a stage show. This is nothing but a movie. Right? Janine's been telling you guys that for years. I've been telling you that, guys, for years. This is nothing but a movie. None of it's real. Right? A lot of you guys talk about simulations. My friends, when you start falling into that stuff, you're going right into the heart of the simulation right there. Okay? None of it is true. None of it is real. None of it is authentic. It's all garbage. Right? Maybe I have to put that in as a subliminal program. MSM is garbage. Everything you see on TV is crap. Don't take it seriously. It's a movie. None of it's real. Right? And I wish I could say it's something else. I wish I could say, oh guys, well, this is really genuine. This is really genuine. But what's happening? What they're trying to do with Trump? Oh my God, guys, it's so genuine. It's not. It's a bunch of crap. It's script writers. It's filmmakers. It's directors. It's actors. It's green screen. It's Hollywood. That's what you're watching. None of it's real. Is that sinking in? Really sinking in. Because none of it's real. So Brad, what do we do? This is for the sleepers. It's not for you guys. A lot of you guys that are on my channel are not sleepers. You guys are wide awake. So why are you watching stuff that's meant for sleepers? Right? You've gotten out of it. Guys, do you remember They Live? They Live with Roddy Piper? Okay? Put on the glasses. I'm pretty sure 90% of the people that are watching my broadcast right now have the glasses on. So why do you keep using the mainstream media for people that don't have the glasses on? Why are you doing it? I think there's a lot more better things you can do with your time. Okay? I think there's a lot of better things that you can do with working with yourself, helping other people out, sharing your love, sharing your compassion, because that's what's going to make a difference here. It's not about battling and fighting fire with fire. Oh, screw the government this, and the government that, blah, blah, blah. What is that going to do? It's not going to do anything. Rather, come into your own space. Hold space for yourself. Hold space for others. Work with your soul tribes. Those who are on that heart-centered path as you are, bring them into your life. Work with them. That's what's going to make a difference. That's what's going to make life so rewarding and so enriching, is when you follow a heart-centered path, not the lower chakras, right? Where you're constantly lusting after change and you're just so offended by what everybody does. And you're so offended by the MSM, and you're so offended by the world events, and you're so offended about how all these countries are changing, right? It's not going to do anything. That is going to cause you to implode along with the old system. Is that what you want? Then you really need to look at what you're doing on a daily basis. You guys have the glasses on, okay? Work with each other. Work through love. Work through compassion. Work through understanding. Work through surrender. Follow the heart path. That is the most rewarding path to follow. Getting caught up in this rat race will do nothing to you. It's going to cause you to die. It's going to kill you. Okay? It's like a person who's smoking 100 cigarettes at once. No, I'll be fine, I'll be fine, I'll be fine. Well, you're slowly killing yourself. That's what happens when you get into the fear porn of MSM. You're slowly killing yourself. Please take that into consideration, right? Okay, let's go down the list here a bit more. Someone says, stop complaining about your audience. Guys, if you already know what I'm talking about, then you know I'm just telling you the truth. If you're upset about what I'm saying, then that's basically telling me you haven't got the clue yet, right? So, believe me, guys, I'm not complaining to you, but I'm going to tell you the truth, right? I'm going to tell you a big truth pill, and some of you are going to have a hard time swallowing it. Not my problem, okay? I'm going to tell you exactly what I say, what I feel. You can either like it or you can lump it. Or you can, again, try and swallow it down. But again, this is why I share the stuff that I share, because I tell you guys every single week about how these things are nothing but a life movie, right? Or nothing but a scene. And if what I'm sharing with you guys is offensive, well, guess what, guys? I've checked your seat. There's no seat belts here. You don't have to listen to me. But I'm sharing this because it's basically something that I need to try and get into you, right? Where you're now letting go of this idea of MSM and the mainstream news and all this stuff like that, because it's not going to save you, right? I'm not saying this for my sake. I'm saying it for yours, right? Because I don't live a life like that. I've stopped living that life a long time ago, and I'm saying it for your guys' sake, not for anybody, not for myself, right? So if you don't like it, you don't have to be here, okay? If you do want to hear it, glad you're here. Glad you want to hear it, okay? So anyways, I think we're going to end with one more question here. This one here is from Elaine. Elaine says, when will this crazy movie end? Let's have a new beautiful reality that we can see and we can feel. Well, the good news is, Elaine, you do have a beautiful reality that you can see and you can feel. It's just that you've been tuned into the wrong station, right? It's like you have to look at yourself as an old radio dial. We just keep tuning in to these really, really hurtful and slanderous and despicable stations on the band. And all you have to do is retune yourself and go into Bliss FM, and you're there. I'm telling you this because that's exactly what I do. That is exactly how I live. Am I using that for an escape? No, because I know about all those other spectrums. I've played with all of those other spectrums. I know where they lead to, and I know it leads to nothing. And so instead, I go to Bliss FM, and I start creating. I start developing something like Etherics. I start putting on these broadcasts for you guys. I start doing ADRONIS communications for you guys. And I do a lot of these things because it is enjoyable for me to do that. But I'm tuning into this station. I'm tuning into Bliss FM. Okay? So it's not about saying that when is the movie going to end. Right? I know a lot of people say that. We're waiting for the end credits. We're waiting for this, and I don't want to have any end credit sequences and stuff like that. Well, guys, as soon as one movie ends, another one begins. Okay? As long as you are tuned into that world, you are never going to escape it until you tune out of the dial. I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for. We're just going to sit here and tap our toes, and we're going to be in complete agony. It's like being in a medieval torture device. And I'll just keep whistling, and I'll think that somehow this movie will end and something great will happen. And that's the fool's journey. Okay? That's me pulling out the fool's card here and saying that's exactly what the fool would do. Okay? You're waiting hopelessly for something to change while you're still tuned into conspiracy, while you're still tuned into slander, while you're still tuned in for pain, while you're still tuned into suffering. And you think that you're going to get out of it when you're tuned into that? No. You have to change the dial. You have to tune out and move yourself into something higher, into something greater, so that even though all of this stuff is happening on the planet, it is not causing you to slip. It's not causing you to falter. You're at the top of the mountain. You now have a vantage point. And if people come to you to ask you what you see, you're happy to share it with them. Okay? That's where I live, my friends. There's times where I falter. There's times where I lose my footing. There's times where I trip and fall as well too. But you know how to take care of it, right? The truly wise person is not one who says, oh, nothing ever happens to me anymore. Nothing bad happens to me. I will be incapable and immune of having anything bad happen to them. And that person is a fool. It's the idea that I know at times I will trip and fall. I know at times I will falter. But what I do is I know how to pick myself up, dust myself off, and keep going. That's the wisdom. Okay? When you notice that everything that you're tuning into, because you're actually tuning into yourself, and you say, my God, this is hurting me, this is way too much for me, I can't take it anymore, I need to listen. And I need to start tuning away from that stuff. I've had people, quite a lot of them, said, Brad, I used to be so obsessed with the MSM, and I got out of that garbage. Instead, I started working on myself, I started healing myself, I started telling my best friends about the type of work that I've done, and I'm helping them out as well too. And it's so much more wonderful than spending so much time tuning into all this filth and thinking that I'm going to make a difference because I'm involved with the external of that particular type of world. Okay? That's not how we heal the world, guys. Okay? It's not about tuning into the suffering and thinking through suffering you're going to get freedom. Okay? You cannot do that. The imperfect can never know perfection. In order for you to know perfection, you must be perfection. And that's where you're tuning the dial and going into Bliss FM. So my answer to the question here with Elaine is about when will this crazy movie end? The crazy movie can end any time, but another crazy movie is going to take its place, Elaine. Okay? It doesn't matter. It's as long as you are in that bandwidth, you are going to have another movie that's going to load right back up, and similar crap is going to happen again. Okay? So again, even though things may change, they still stay the same because you're on that bandwidth. You're on that frequency. Okay? I'm only telling you guys about how it is. It's when you basically get off the band and you're moving into a new frequency, and here's bliss, and I'm working with myself, I'm working and mastering my body, I'm working and mastering my mind, I'm working and mastering my environment, I'm working together with my family, I'm working together with my friends, and people are being drawn to me to learn, right? There's been a lot of people who've been mad at me, guys. You wonder why, right? He's like, oh, Brad's always like telling us not to do this and get off MSM and blah, 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 right? I've had people who have unsubscribed and left my channel because I've been telling them this. And I've been telling them this week after week. And they just run off and they stay together in their pits of fear. And they now just start to get so disgruntled. And they go deeper and deeper into their hurt and into their suffering. When at any time you guys can come out of that. What I'm attempting to do, guys, is do this. That's what I'm doing. I'm saying, guys, I know what you've been through because I've done this stuff for years. I was into the conspiracy stuff. I was into the mainstream media news. I was into all that stuff. And I can tell you it's nothing but a dead end. And that the true key to life in bringing yourself into the greatest states of bliss is to tune out of that and to come into yourself and to surrender and to let go and to release and to heal. And that's what I'm doing right now. Some of you are doing that. And some of you are doing this. Okay? That's what I'm doing here. Is just letting you guys know. If something's a dead end, guys, I'm going to tell you it's a dead end. I'm not going to bullshit you. And say, no, guys, what you're doing, worrying about the MSM and worrying about the politics, and, oh, that's really, really good. You should all be doing that. Right? I'd be bullshitting you. I'd be a class A bullshitter. And I'm not going to do that. I'm always going to tell you the truth. And that's what my channel has always been about. I've had people get pissed at me because I've shared the truth. I don't care. Not my problem. Other people's insecurities are not my issue. I'm still going to share exactly what I share because this is my channel and I can share whatever the hell I want. Right? That's really how I see it. And I'm happy to come on here and to help answer questions that you guys have. It's no problem whatsoever. I enjoy doing that. Right? But I'm also going to tell you things like it is. That's how it is. I'm a tell it like it is guy. Always have been, always will be. Right? So if you guys want the idea of me giving you the red pill, right, and not the blue pill, then I'm glad you guys are here. Right? Okay. So Aline says, yeah, Bliss FM it is. I create poetry, no more Telegram posts for me. Then fantastic. That's wonderful, Elaine, right? Give you a big hug if I were seeing you in person right now. Yes, that's it, guys. Guys, follow Elaine's example. That's it. Bliss FM. That's where I'm going. I'm working on myself. I'm going to take care of my body. I'm going to take care of my mind, right? I got a bunch of free stuff for you guys on the playlists that you can go ahead and you can try it anytime. You can share it with other people. You can always talk to me about it if you're confused, if you don't know something that's happening with the technique. You can always contact me. I'm happy to help you. Okay? That's my goal. That's me reaching out my hand for you. But I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat you. I'm not going to bullshit you. Because I know when people are walking this path, I have the experience. I know what I'm talking about. Okay? And I'm not saying that from a place of arrogance. I'm saying that from a place of experience. Because I used to do all this crap. I used to be into all this conspiracy stuff. Used to be into like, oh my God, oh there's 9/11 here and fight fire with fire and retaliate and screw the government, blah, 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 blah. Guys, I've done that. I used to do all that stuff, and then I woke up and I realized that that is nothing but a waste of time. Tune out and come into the higher ground, right? That's what it is. Come to the summit. Work with summit level manifestation. Work with the 3 phases of mastery and expand your life. Come into the idea. Everybody wants to be superhuman. There's not one person who says, if you had the ability, would you be superhuman? Oh, for in a second, in a heartbeat, I would be a superhuman. I want to have these super abilities. I want to be able to be super psychic. I want to be telepathic. I want to be clairvoyant, right? I want to be able to feel each other's emotions. I want to help people. Well then, guys, this is what I'm trying to teach you. This is where I'm trying to take you so that you can be that. You mean, Brad, I'm not there? No. You worrying about conspiracy, and you worrying about fighting fire with fire, and you worrying about your MSM, and you worrying about Trump, and you worrying about the government is the furthest thing away from that. And you got to tune in. Take Elaine's advice here. Bliss FM it is. She creates poetry. No more Telegram posts for her. Fantastic. That's wonderful. That's a breakthrough. And that makes me smile to see that. Okay? How about we follow Elaine's example? And that's all it takes, is just a decision to tune into something better. Thank you guys for all of your questions. I appreciate it. I will go ahead and wrap up this edition of New Earth Tarot. I'll be back next week with another episode. And then, of course, next Friday will be New Earth TV Live. And, of course, Sunday after next will be another episode of Transmissions from ADRONIS on Zoom. Thank you very much, everybody. Om Shanti 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 Namaskar. And may it be well with you. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to New Earth Teachings on YouTube. Don't forget to check out our websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can do private sessions with me, and also Etherics.co. And through Etherics, you'll be able to pick up your Healing Code Cards body deck, your mind deck, and your energy deck through Etherics. You will also be able to pick up the Etherbed kit. That is also on Etherics as well. Not to mention that you'll also be able to pick up some apparel and accessories that is also available on Etherics. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one. Om Shanti 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 Namaskar, and may it be well with you.